Hey everybody, Chris Peters here with another scouting report for the 2024 NHL Draft, and today we're going to focus on one of the real rising stars of this class, and that is Tij Iginla from the Kelowna Rockets in the WHL. Now, everybody knows the last name Iginla, of course, from Tij's father, Jerome, but now they're going to get to know Tij very well too, because he has really risen up draft charts and looks like a lock to go very high in the first round of the 2024 NHL Draft. Before we get into the scouting report and the details of his game, let's take a look at the numbers and the stats that he put together this year, and really in a breakout season in the WHL. Over the course of this season, Iginla had 64 games played with the Kelowna Rockets, 47 goals scored, second most among all draft-eligible players in the WHL, 37 assists for 84 points. On top of that, he also had 6 goals and 6 assists for Canada in the 2024 IIHF Men's World Under-18 Championship, where he helped Canada win gold at that event, upsetting Team USA in a comeback victory in the gold medal game, in which he scored one of his 6 goals. So it's been a really remarkable year overall for Iginla. You think back to the summer, didn't play at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup as part of that team, does go play for Canada at the World Under-18s, and has a very successful tournament after having just a really tremendous year in Kelowna. So how did he put together those points? Why is he a rising draft prospect? Well, I think the offensive elements of his game are among the high-end traits of players in this draft. It certainly looks like he could be a producer at the next level. Why? Because he's got tremendous hand skills, and that has really allowed him to make plays. He's able to beat defenders one-on-one. He's able to create some time and space, but he doesn't overly rely on those hand skills. But the quickness of those hands make him more able to execute when he needs to. And I think that that's really where we've seen the maturation in his game. He's become a more go-to goal scorer, which is really difficult to become at a young age in the WHL, but he did it with those 47 goals that he scored, and he just has a tremendous release on his shot. It's very accurate. And the thing that I like about how he uses his skill set is he gets to the interior. He gets to the more dangerous scoring areas. He allows himself that little extra bit of room to get that tremendous shot off, and in doing that has scored at a higher rate this season. Now, when you look at the measurables of him, he's come in around 6 foot tall. He's starting to gain some weight. He's starting to put on muscle. He's very difficult to knock off the puck. On top of that, we're seeing better details in his game away from the puck. He gets sticks in lanes. He contends pucks. He tries to get stick on puck a lot when he's in the defensive zone. Also in the offensive zone, his ability to disrupt. He's got quickness. He's got some tenacity to him. He's got some of that aggressiveness off the puck, which allows him to go back and get the puck to create that tremendous offense that he has. Now, he's not going to be viewed as a defensive stalwart, at least not initially. That's certainly something that could continue to round out in his game. But because of those offensive elements, because of the good details he has off the puck, and because of the fact that he does have those familial bloodlines to the NHL, which you really can't underrate. It's not just a nepotism thing. It's actual things that he knows that other players may not have grown up with. The fact that Jerome Iginla, one of the greatest players of all time, is his father, and also Coach Tij coming up in the ranks, that helps a lot, because there are a lot of those little details and little experiences that he's going to pick up that's going to help him be a pro. Now, you talk to Tij Iginla, you get a lot of those same vibes from Jerome. There's that friendliness, there's also that gregariousness, but also the seriousness and the ability to play and the ability to be a professional. And I think that is another one of those things that happens with players that are sons of former pros that actually does matter. That professionalism, being able to emulate that at a young age does help. And I think a lot of teams will respond to that. I think he's going to do very well at the scouting combine. So what is Tij Iginla going to be at the NHL level? I think the best case scenario for him is that he is a top line scorer, but I think the more realistic case is that he's going to be a top 6 to middle 6 forward, an ability to be secondary scoring and not necessarily a team's primary scorer, but he does have that hand skill that suggests, hey, there might be another gear that he can get to and be one of those top line performing players. So that's the optimistic projection. But as we look at him and we look at the size profile, we look at the way that his trajectory has looked over the last 2 years in the WHL, he really took a big leap. So if we're expecting him to take another leap next year, I really think that projection is only going to be enhanced and maybe more solidified as a potential top line player. So it really could go either way, but I think he's definitely in the mix to be a productive player at the NHL level. When we look at NHL comparables for him, you kind of look at guys that are of similar size, similar skill set. Lucas Raymond is the guy that really comes to mind, and that was a player I really liked in his draft year. and have only liked as time has gone on, as he's become a better NHL player. I think he's really starting to scratch the surface of what he's going to be as a pro. So you've got hand skills, you've got that tenacity off the puck, you've got that ability when you have the puck on your stick to get to the inside, make better plays. I see a lot of those same traits in Tij Iginla as I saw in Lucas Raymond when he was coming up, and he was a top 5 pick. So that's another player where you can really emulate and say, hey, that's a player I'd like to play like. I think Tij Iginla is on that track and potentially could exceed what Lucas Raymond has done if he hits on that lofty projection. But I think Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings is a fair comparable for Tij Iginla. And where's he going to go in the draft? I think that's the big question right now. There's starting to be some top 5 buzz for Tij Iginla. It's a little rich for me just because of how good the defensemen are in this draft. But the fact of the matter is, he's put himself in that discussion, and he has earned his way into that discussion, not because of who his dad is, but because of how he played this season. And that's really special as well. So there is a chance that Tij Iginla is going to sneak into that 5 to 10 range. I think he's a safer projection in the 10 to 14, 15 range, because I think that the defensemen in this draft are really going to push some of these wingers down. And the fact that he is a winger is probably going to push him down a little bit. But I think there's a lot to like about Tij Iginla. I think there's a lot that he's going to be able to do over these next couple of years as he gets stronger, maybe grows a little bit more, that he could really establish himself as a top tier prospect in the NHL. So I think it's looking very strong that he will be a top 15 pick at least coming in this June's NHL Draft. Stay tuned for more scouting reports from FloHockey as we get closer to the NHL Draft.